All right, I think we are live. Uh, Thank you for being on Big Scott 35 tonight. Of course, as usual, I have Nats Man.
Hashtag that is so.
There you go. And special guest, Andy. She blinded me with refractors, one of the best names.
Not worthy.
I gotta
Not
say it.
worthy.
I thank you, and the other one is for me, Dave's Midlife Card Crisis. I think those two names are y'all are like neck and neck.
Yeah, I like Dave's. I mean,
That's a great one. That's for
pretty
me.
appropriate for all of us, really.
It is. It is. That's why it's funny, but it's funny because it's true.
That's for sure. Yeah, I've constantly in a midlife card crisis.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to just say the interview or the philosophy take that you and JT did was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that
Very
was,
good stuff.
Yeah, that was very, a unique take on y'all's two. The way you both do the hobby proves anybody can do it any way you want to.
Yeah, and I had somebody else mention that to me today at the show. They had listened to that, and I was like, you got to give a ton of credit to JT because he's he's such a young guy, but he thinks about this in
Yeah,
just a way different way than most young people do, and he asks such good questions. I was like, I'm coming in there, and I'm like, I'm ready for the softball questions.
right.
And JT's like, he's raising the bar, man. He's making you think about it, and
Right.
I really had to think. I'm like, gosh, nobody's really ever asked me that. But
right. He did the same thing to me on, like, it made me deep dive on why I do things. Okay, why do I do it that way? And that was,
Well, what needs to happen is y'all two need to have him on your channel and do that to him.
oh, he's gonna come on. I pretty much got people lined up from here to the national. I got my titles Road to the National. Everything will have something. We'll talk a little bit about it. It's not going to be all about the national, but I really wanted to. Natsman came up with this last week, having you on, being from the Dallas show today, because me and him went to a show in Hickory, which was very depressing, to say the least. A lot of dealers, good turnout for the dealers, just not a good turnout. And I need to say this. I went to a toy show, the same spot. Toy shows usually with the card show, but they split it up in two. And now I think they didn't do it to have the card show by itself. It's so much to have the toy show by itself, because the toy show had dealers from the front wall to the back wall to both side walls packed. It was a few more dealers, and by 11 o'clock to 1 was that midday, where in the middle you have to, a big guy like me just kind of think small, be small, walk through there. You say a lot of excuse me. And, so how was this being a 3-day, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Actually started Thursday night.
Oh, it did.
They have kind of, it's similar to what the National does. Like it's kind of like a sneak preview type night where the show floor is only open, for a limited amount of time. I think it's like 4 hours, but you guys know how it is. Like everybody gets all these different passes and everything. So there's tons of people in there. They have media passes, dealer passes. They're not dealers and they're not media, but they're in there, right? So there's a lot of people in there. The first night was interesting because it was similar to kind of what you guys are describing. Like it was kind of like a ghost town. I was like, where is everybody? Like half of the dealers weren't there. It's like, okay, maybe this is not gonna be good. But then Friday comes along and it's just like old Dallas, it's like packed, like there's action, and it turned out to be a really good show. I mean, like I think it's way different. It just depends on what you're buying, I guess, and what you're selling as far as like what type of show it was for, dealers and collectors alike. But it seemed to me like there was a lot of people that were trying to sell, obviously, like, not dealers, but just people coming up to tables trying to sell. they typically wanted, like if the last one sold on eBay for $100, they want $100 for it.
Right.
And, generally speaking, I mean, I'm not a dealer. Like I set up, but I'm not a dealer. But typically, dealers are not going to pay, 100%, right? They can't do that. It wouldn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
So, you had a lot of people that were trying to sell that were, probably disappointed and walking away, because they couldn't make the sales at, full 100% prices. I'm trying to think if there was anything really that just stood out.
Andy, I've seen the videos for Dallas, and a show I want to go to other than the National would be Chantilly. I do want to make a trip to Chantilly, but I've thought about Dallas. Do you think Dallas is worthwhile to go to, being where I'm at? Here, in North Carolina, you think it's worth me traveling to go there to look? I mean, how big is the facility? The options that you can look for, that kind of thing.
It's big. They have the main room, and then they have, I'm trying to think, there's at least 3 other like side rooms. One of them is a pretty good size. The other 2 relatively small. But as far as number of tables, I mean, we're talking like probably 600-ish tables total between all.
It's a double victory then.
Yeah. And you get a lot of the national dealers there. They always come to this show. So yeah, I would kind of describe it as like a mini national.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to have close to the same number of dealer tables at this show, but you're not going to have like all the corporate booths. So when you go to the national, like that's why they need, so much more space than they do here at this show, because they're such a corporate present. You'll have Topps, Panini, PSA, Beckett. They'll have breakers over here doing that stuff. So that's like the main difference as far as all that goes between this show and the national. But I think it's definitely the second biggest show in the country.
Thank you. How long have you been doing Dallas?
Well, I started going to it probably like a year ago, because it was really like one of the first places that opened up, after, the C word. But, yeah, so that was, and that's why it was, it got so huge so fast, because it was really the only, big show that was going on. So everybody, I mean, like the first time I went to that show, I couldn't believe how packed it was. Like, I mean, it was unlike any national that I'd been to prior to last year, as far as just like, bumper to bumper traffic in there.
Wow.
Now, it's not like that anymore, but there's still a ton of traffic.
So was there a lot of people that were trying to do trades and selling on the not non-dealer side of the table, I should say?
Oh,
because when you're selling, you still become a dealer, right? You just
yeah. It's kind of confusing, and we were kind of joking about this yesterday. Some of my friends and I sitting at the table, and we were kind of just like, that's one of the biggest changes I think in the entire hobby over the last 3 or 4 years. Is you go to some of these shows now, and it's like everyone thinks they're a dealer, right? Like, because they're trying to sell. Like, that's happened in the past. People come up to you and sell, but it's just like, just way more now.
I feel awkward. That was my first show in years. Well, and I had some cards that I brought, and I felt awkward, even though they had a sign out saying, "We're buying, let us cash you out." I still felt awkward making that approach on that. I just
cool, W Boggs.
I thought that I felt awkward on that, and something I say. I mean, you tell me you're at a table. I mean, something I've tried to tell them is like, when I give them a card, and you'll be like, "Well, what's your price?" And I said, and I do, and Scott can attest to this, is make me a fair offer. I know you need to make money, but make me a fair offer.
Right.
I mean, is that good to do that? I mean, I got a price in mind, but.
So I'll tell you what happened to me at this show. There's not a lot of people out there. So I've been pretty heavy into the UFC cards the last year or so. And there's not a lot of people. I mean, people are starting to get into it a little bit more, but I probably had more of it, sitting out in a showcase than probably anybody at this show. So when that happens, you kind of get that reputation of like, hey, the UFC guy is over here, take your stuff to him, right? And I love UFC, but I collect certain fighters from certain sets and stuff like that. So what started to happen is like anybody that had any UFC cards, they started coming up trying to sell them to me, right? And most of it was the ultra modern Prism, some of the Donruss stuff that had just came out, and Immaculate stuff like that. And I've never bought like a Panini UFC card of anyone. So I spent a good deal of time, kind of explaining to people, yes, I love UFC, but that doesn't mean I want to buy everything.
Right.
Like, can you imagine like if you're setting up and you just have baseball cards and like everybody's just like, oh yeah, he likes baseball cards. So they bring you every baseball card that's imaginable. So it was interesting. I mean, I appreciate people bringing that type of stuff, but yeah, you kind of get pigeonholed into that one thing, and yeah, like the people were bringing all kinds of stuff, and it was cool stuff, but just not really my thing.
Is that something good, to say is like, hey, if I'm, somebody is talking to a dealer that's got to sign out, because I won't put stuff out on Scott saw me. I'm just like, I'm real hesitant about it because I've seen kind of what you and some of the other guys say, just don't throw your stuff up on the table and that kind of thing. I've queued up on some things of advice that y'all said is like, when they've got a nice setup, hey, you got a nice setup here, kind of break the ice a little bit. But how much do you think, because you're saying, a lot of people were disappointed in not getting 100% eBay comp. What's a realistic, do you think, realistic kind of offer, just a no particular card, just in transaction in general, should somebody expect if they're bringing something to a person that that's selling at the table, you've got your cost for table and transportation and whatnot.
Well,
You got to make some money.
It's a lot different for me because I'm not really a dealer. Like I have a table, but I'm mostly set up to like, hey, this is what I collect. Like I will sell stuff, but it's just to buy other stuff. Like I don't do this for a living. Mainly, I like to do trades and stuff like that. But I mean, typically dealers, just from my experience, they're typically going to pay you, anywhere from, it just depends on what it is too. Like, but anywhere from like 60% to as high as 80, 85, if it's something that they really, feel like they could move quickly. But usually the stuff that like, if somebody comes up to me, the stuff that I would buy just from being behind the table is really the same stuff that I would buy if I was on the other side.
Yeah.
So I try to make it fair because like I said, I'm not trying to like, I'm not doing this for a living. So I'm not really trying to make money off of it. Like
that's why you have that little TV with you and JT's thing on a loop, just talking about how
right.
I don't overdo my whole collection goes in a book bag.
I mean, like, to be honest, like when I've done trades at these shows, like even if I have a table, I'm typically doing a trade with somebody just like I would if it was either of you guys. Like we're just trying to make it fair. Like I'm not necessarily trying to win, and I'm not trying to lose either.
Right.
I just want it to be fair for both sides. Like I want them to get what they want, I get what I want.
Yeah, because you rather be the UFC guy, not the guy that nobody wants to go talk to at all.
Well, yeah. And see, that's the thing is like when if somebody approaches you and they want to sell you something and it's something that you don't necessarily want for your collection and you're going to have to sell it, then you have to kind of think of it as like, well, I can only pay this amount, right?
Right.
But if it's something I'm going to keep, we're just going to do like a fair deal. That's how I do it anyway. I mean, but like I said, I'm not a real dealer. I'm just, I'm just there.
Well,
what made you go ahead? Sorry.
I'm glad to hear that that it was back to some type of normalcy. I really think the show we went to, it being Mother's Day weekend, college graduations, the start of kind of the beach season, all of that in the South down here. didn't play well into that weekend. I really think that, and I'm hoping that's what it is, because I hope they keep doing that show with all those dealers. I came out pretty good on that show. So
I think you actually just missed they had a show right before you moved, I think, in Winston.
Yeah, I know. It was
so,
April,
right?
the first weekend in April.
Yeah.
It was done at I think the guys from More Score actually do that one, which I've gotten to they're holding things for me now, so when I get them in. So
Oh, you're at that point. They're holding.
yeah, I ain't even been here a little over a month. So,
All right.
so they know, the guy asked me what I like. He didn't get his Gypsy Queen in yet. And I said, I'll be back to get a box if you don't sell. He goes, oh, I'll hold it for you. What else do you want when it comes, So I was like, sweet. It knows my name now. So
you're VIP.
Got to get in good with them.
Mm.
I just got to get in good at the comic book store. And then I got to, I'll be good then. Yeah,
and that's one thing that, and this is not breaking news to anybody, but like, it's kind of like what you're talking about. If you've done several deals with somebody, even if they're a dealer, they're probably going to pay you better than they would just somebody that they've never met before. If you repeatedly bring them stuff that they like,
especially if you're buying back, you're buying stuff with that too as well, or trading, or get that relationship.
Yeah, that's a key thing, is building those relationships, because there's tons of people there that I've just seen, and they know that they'll take their stuff to this guy. He's going to treat them fairly, and that's just kind of the way it goes. Like, they don't even really take it to anybody else, because
I tell you what, it's a good thing to have Nats Man with me, because he talks up a good game. He's a great icebreaker, and he gets. If you don't want to know anything, you better not sit down and talk with him while you're having a beer that night, because he's really good at an investigation work.
That's part of the job, right?
Yeah. He
got to fill these guys out.
He got all the information for that show for us last time. That was great. And then when
I look up Scott's there, and I look up Scott's over making a deal for cards.
Yeah.
And that's such a good point, because it's all about those relationships, and people, if you like somebody, you're just going to give them a better deal. That's just the way human nature works.
Right.
And vice versa. If somebody's a jerk to you, you're not going to work with that person. Like, if they're a jerk, like, hey, the sticker price is the price, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that was something I was trying to do, was like, there was a couple of things, that I was looking at, that I was debating on getting. But if I pass the table and the guy, selling, the dealer, or, is not making, conversation with somebody, I'll say something funny, hey, talk to him. I'm passing, so he remembers me. Hey, this guy, he always spoke when he came by, that kind of deal. Get a rapport going a little bit.
And
I'll tell you real quick, just say, hey, what's up to Pafazzi? Man, I love your that new autograph on the chair. Saw that pic today. Don's Field of Dreams, Reese D Card Ranger, Blue Rock, Rude Dog. We got a great group in here doing some side chats. If y'all have any questions for us, Andy was at the Dallas show all weekend as sitting there talking to people. He was a dealer. The reason I say that is because
you had it right the first time.
He's just sitting there talking to somebody.
You had it right the first time. That's mainly what I do.
The show comes to him. That's all.
I sit there and talk to people, and they're probably trying to be like, all right, dude, I got to go on. But
I felt like that sometimes, to the dealer, and it was like, you knew which ones were open to conversation and stuff. And, it's a good way to build stuff. There was one that was a Nationals fan there that we were talking to.
Yep.
And when I walked by, he goes, Nats, Nats, Nats. And I'm like dying laughing. He remembered, there ain't many of us that were in there that are. So
yeah, a lot of Braves fans down there, down here. Because Dallas is definitely on my list of shows to go to. I'm not going to be able to this year. I don't think. I'm going to go to Chantilly in October, and I'm trying to go to Philly. I think it's September.
That's another one I like to go to. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chantilly is like my birthday week. Me and my dad. That's kind of he likes to go up. He doesn't collect, but he loves to go up there and look at the 50s and 60s cards, and he's kind of like my Nats man there. He'll talk to the dealers about all the sports and tell them stories because my dad did radio and he's a great storyteller, and he get those younger guys in awe. It helps in working with deals. It just breaks. It's an icebreaker. I'm a little abrupt. I'm just like, hey, what do you want for this?
He is a man on a mission.
I get very when I start looking at stuff, I get very tunnel vision when I see something I really like, and I need to get sometimes I get really excited like I'm 12 again. And, that's what this hobby is for me. So
I have to be careful at these shows because, like I said, there's a lot of people that come up to you, with stuff that they want to sell, and I'm telling you, man, some of these guys, like, they're salesmen. Like, they're like what you would think would be something that a dealer would be doing. Like, they're selling me way more than I would be selling them on something. Like, I'm just like, yeah, here's what I have. If you want to buy it, then maybe we can do something. But I have no problem taking it home. But these guys, man, they're aggressive sometimes.
Scott was telling me we weren't even making a deal really. We just happened to stop, and we were in front of somebody's, and it didn't even register to me. But Scott made a good point. Is it's out of courtesy. If you're making a private trade or sell or buy with someone who's not at the table, you're standing in front of somebody that's paying. Kind of move off to the side. I just think that's a faux pas. To me, that's a faux pas, kind of disrespecting you and your table. You're trying to, even though you're doing it as fun and, it sounds like as a relaxation, as part of the hobby. But, especially these guys are really, this is their living.
Sure.
Do you see a lot of that at the Dallas show? Do you see that a lot at Dallas show or even at the National? Or
Yeah, I mean, you see that everywhere, and it's just an etiquette thing, right? I mean, it's just like just common courtesy, the same common courtesy that you would want to be shown in any business or any field, just anything, right? And some of the newer people, I mean, I guess they, there's a lot of it's kind of like baseball. There's a lot of unwritten rules in the hobby that, maybe they just don't know it yet. They haven't been around long enough to where they fully understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't get too upset about that stuff. Like,
do you kind of look every now and again though?
Well, maybe every now and then. I'll tell you guys this, like, there was not one person that I can remember this whole week that had like a Pelican case and they set it down on the case without asking first. Like if they ask, and I'm like, yeah, sure, set it down. There's nobody else around here.
right.
And if other people start, then we'll move over here out of the way. But everybody was really respectful as far as asking. Like I never had a problem with that. But I've heard a lot of people that have. So I mean, I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah, I guess there haven't been any problems in the Philly area. Wesker Griff hasn't done a rant video in a while, so.
I love Wesker Griff's rant videos.
They're awesome. When he says he's going to a show, it's like I can't wait for Monday.
Yeah, he gives the spicy takes that I like.
Yeah, he does. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
He does the PG-13.
That's right.
Version. Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah, and even better than his videos is hearing the Wesker Griff stories in person because then you get the unedited version. It's great.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I know. I've got two cards he bought.
This is interesting that Don put up. This is one of the dealers was amazed that we had all met through YouTube and we're hanging out together at a show. I don't understand where the amazement is, but man, I know it's been great for most of the people here. Don's included. Me and him didn't meet through YouTube. We met through a third party at the National last year. So
Andy's one of the original guys I started watching when I got back into the hobby,
Well-
watching his videos, and I've reached out to him and before and asked some advice, and I think it's good to let these folks know that
Well, it's
hey,
nice he
you
didn't put a restraining order on you. That was
but it's nice to know. I think it's nice to know to let these guys know, hey, you played a pivotal role on me getting to know people in the hobby and knowing what the hobby is now, and you respond. There's certain folks you're not going to be able to get a response from, and I've got to say the circle that I think we all run in is an open door.
Yeah, it is.
On any kind of advice, anything.
Right.
So, and again, Andy, thank you for
I appreciate the kind words. It's funny because right before you got on here, Scott and I was actually telling him this story, like how you and I had never met in person, but you had reached out to me like probably 2 years ago, and I remember you sent me a message and you're like, "Is it okay if I call you?" And I'm like, "Well, of course it is. Like, I mean, who the hell am I? Like, of course you can call me. Anybody can call me. Like, I mean, but yeah, we had a really good conversation on the phone, and I was looking forward to meeting you last year, and then you kind of had some health stuff come up, and so yeah, we'll get to finally meet in person.
Yeah,
this year.
Be ready for a bro hug, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'll tell you, the first time I met Eric in person, I went to shake his hand. He's like, "We don't shake hands, we give hugs."
Yeah, that's true. I always say like 2020 we didn't have it. 2019 we had to get together, and I met y'all, and most of y'all were just personalities to me. I wasn't there long. I wasn't out there, but man, last year I always said I didn't meet She Blinded Me Refractors. I met Andy. Right. I didn't meet those back pages. I met Eric. It was a little different. I talking with y'all. It's still Mike O because I can't say his last name. So,
yeah, it's really it's amazing. I mean, because just like you were pointing out, you meet all these guys in person for the first time, and you just you don't really know what to expect because you're like, I've seen this guy on YouTube, but I mean, how well do I really know him? Like,
right.
what's he really going to be like? That's the thing. And everybody's exactly like you see them. I mean, the people that are in our circle, I mean, because nobody's pretending to be something else. Like it's all authentic. It's all real. And you get exactly what you saw.
And it's amazing. I know I'm in a chat with a daily chat, basically, with Scott and Bobbles and JD and JJ within that group. And it's like, if somebody doesn't hear from somebody during the day, somebody's posting something like, "Is everyone still alive?" ? That kind of thing. So, I mean, it's a daily conversation. We're sharing, and I know you do this in circles as well. Is it's just like, hey, we're sharing what we're getting, buys that we're getting, things we're looking for. I thought it was great. Bobbles actually sent the text out. I think it was yesterday, and was like, hey, what are you looking for at the National? Anybody looking for anything in particular? It's getting that time, and that kicked off a great conversation.
Right.
There's a running joke in this one group chat that I'm in, and it's kind of like what you're talking about. Like these guys will always post this. They'll be like, "Did Andy buy a card? Did Andy buy a card?"
Well, I brought it up when you and Michael had y'all. I was like, I know a guy didn't buy nothing at the National last year, but it was great. You tried the last day before you left. You tried.
I always try. Now I don't always succeed, but I always try.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just I'm picky. I'll admit I'm picky. Right. So
right.
I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. I don't know if I'll buy anything. I'm just so picky on stuff.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna try to say the last name of Mike. He sounded it out for me. Orzechowski.
Orzechowski.
Okay. My dad asked me because I was getting mail sent to him while I was getting moved and didn't know where I was going to be at. And he sent me some stuff I bought from him, and plus my dad was like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, that's Mike Owen. I go, I can understand that. So,
Yeah,
Andy,
my-
you got anything pending at TSA still?
Of course I do. Like, so I still have, I just checked like earlier today. I have 4 orders that are out and they got there March 15th of 2021. So we were joking about this today because I showed my brother and I was like, I've had 2 birthdays since then, since they got those. I'm like,
I just got a return back and it was 16 months, 1st of March.
I'm
So
like
nice was
at 14. I'm at 14 months on these.
I have 2 orders out through JT's group,
Nice.
and I one's I think at 14 and one's more than 14. It's very, very bad.
I don't
And my
understand that
problem with
business
it is
model.
it wouldn't be a big a deal if they wouldn't open back up and take cards in front of it and grade stuff. I don't care what they're paying and shoving them out in 30 days or whatever they're promising.
I agree, and it's been funny because like I've sent in a few different economy orders, at the $50 level, and they say that they're guaranteeing those back in 3 months, but I've never had any that like were out longer than like 5 or 6 weeks.
Right, and that's what I've been hearing, and
So
now they're
it's awesome.
opening it up for everyone in the bulk or whatever. I just yeah,
I'm like, I'm happy that these are coming back quickly, but
I don't know if I'm ever gonna. I don't know if I'll grade with them again. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I probably will because I'm really working on that Gary Carter, and I got a bunch of Pete Alonso rookies that I'll kind of like to keep the same, but they've really turned me off with this. And
I got 14. I got 14
we-
cards in this order. They didn't even grade.
Yeah, we know they're going to take a bunch in at the National, and they'll get those back to them before the National's over. That's sickening. It's just like it don't matter what price it is.
I'll say this: like I will continue to grade with them, but it's certainly not because of their customer service.
Right. Yeah. They're all got their issues. Don's Field of Dreams cards, SGC. I got I got some cards yesterday actually at the toy show that I can't wait to get an SGC. They're going to look beautiful in that black.
Star Wars.
No, you saw the picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm going to do a whole just one episode with that. So
I had
you guys something because you guys are both into Star Wars, right?
yes.
mhm.
So have you guys seen some of the videos that people have been putting out about like how there's a lot of people that think that people are pumping Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I didn't see that for sure.
Like
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious as to like because you guys are real Star Wars collectors. I was just kind of curious if you guys had seen that, and if so, like what do you think is going on there? If
You
any,
go first, Scott.
First off, I don't see it that much at all at the shows. I don't.
Yeah.
But I've just been to the Midwestern shows and Hickory. That's all I've been to. I don't see a lot in the shops here. I've been to quite a few shops around here. And then when I went to the National last year, it was not good for non-sports stuff at all. So I don't know what they're pumping and what they're dumping. I know somebody bought a bunch of atomics, right? Of that Galaxy Chrome, but I haven't seen it being pumped up. We barely even saw any at the Hickory show. The best stuff I bought at the Hickory show for Star Wars I got from Natsman. So,
And I got I jumped on I'm an atomics, cracked ice, whatever you want to call it.
right.
I love those. And the Star Wars card for the Galaxy, they were so dirt cheap when you bought them. And it's, we heard at the Hickory show, I was on listening to another channel, and there were folks in the chat saying they had gone to the Hickory show and there was a lot of Star Wars. There wasn't. There was one vendor that really had anything, and it wasn't much.
Right.
And I'm not seeing it on eBay. I had some stuff listed
And those
that were
boxes
graded.
are so expensive. That's what I don't understand.
And it's not. I don't see how they're pumping and dumping something on this Galaxy Chrome anyway. I mean, a raw card. Basically, your raw cards are going for anywhere from $20 to $50 for a raw card, but they're atomics or they're not the base set. You know, they're serial numbered stuff. And
well, in the non-sports world, most of the cards that are worth anything are going to be autographs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's
not going to be even serial
cards, even you can do serial numbers, whatever. Most of the
with
people,
the auto.
Yeah, most of the people that collect that is looking for, because that's one of my things on my bucket list is a Carrie Fisher autograph.
Okay.
I've seen a 1-of-1, and I've seen some pictures in their slave costume, which I really wanted, but they didn't have a COA. I could afford it, but I could afford it because it didn't have a COA, right? So I just can't trust that, and I want to be able to feel comfortable. I don't mind paying a little bit more just to have that comfortable, and I want a COA from the guy that got it signed either. I want one of the big boys.
And Darth Vader's the big seller. Darth Vader outsells. As far as like the new stuff that's out from Darth Vader's like killing it.
Yeah, but
in the graded slabs, they're going for
autographs. In the autographs, the a lot of your you'll be surprised like what some of the autographs go for. Me and Westergriff talked about this last year for a while because it's the same way with him. Like some of your bigger talent that didn't do a lot of autographs, people want those. The complete, like I got all the characters or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's kind of crazy.
Well, I was just curious as to what you guys thought because I'd seen a couple videos talking about it, and I think that a lot of times nowadays it seems like people are like they're so quick to like throw out that they think somebody's pumping something. Because I mean, a lot of times I see that and I'm like, it's okay for people to like what they want to like. You can't tell them what to like and not like, right?
Right.
Well, the problem with the pump and dump too is people that complain about it. This is just my opinion on it. Is that they missed 9 times out of 10, I think they missed the boat and they're pissed that they didn't take the risk of maybe seeing where this card could go and take the chance of getting it graded and sitting on it for a little bit and then selling it. Right. I mean, I did that with that Baby Yoda card that was PSA 10. I got that thing for like $50 and sat on it, and I was like literally the first sale that made it at 500. I mean, you can get that card for nothing now, for under $100 now. But you know, people, you could say I was pumping and dumping, you know. But here's the new Star Wars series. Everybody's on Star Wars. They love Baby Yoda. I thought that was an easy way to grab. I don't have anything. I'm not attached to Baby Yoda.
What's interesting to me in the new series, and this is how I'm a nerd for Star Wars, is they're going to have the original father and son, mother and father or aunt and uncle of Luke that was in there when they got handed the baby in 1, whatever, 3, whatever, however it's numbered. I'm a nerd, but I'm confused right now. At number 3, you know, after Darth Vader is created and Padme dies, Ben Solo at that moment goes and you know, and not Ben.
Obi-Wan turns over
Obi-Wan, but he's
his
Ben Kenobi when he goes there and gives the kid
Anakin's stepbrother. Yeah.
Right. So I would love to, and this is something too. I was noticing at the toy show. I like to go to shows to see where the overlap is. Oh, here we go. We got a new name here. Not a new name, but a guy I met last year. Great guy, 4-Leaf.
4-Leaf.
How you doing, buddy?
Look at the Irish.
Yeah, and Reese put this up there. I'll put it again. That's just because I know Wesker Griff is there, so they got to get all of that stuff out there.
Oh,
And
Westbrook's a huge Game of Thrones fan. Like
yes,
he's been collecting
that's
that
why
stuff for years and years.
I saw one card there, and he gave me the greatest advice ever for like the non-sports autos. Is you want the if you're looking just for the auto of the actor or actress, right? I was going to get what's his face to play C-3PO, but it was at a premium because it was like a 1 of 5. He goes, you don't need to get a 1 of 5, just get a base card, and you'll save a ton of money. You don't want to pay the 1 of 5 premium. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that non-sports is on. I mean, we all know that's its own
right
different set of rules.
Getting back on what I was saying, like the toy show, it's kind of like the sports card world right now, where people are buying up the stuff in the stores and selling them at the show. Like this is the stuff that people want at the show, and I didn't quite get that. I got to skip a lot of stuff, but I did pick up some stuff that I missed at the stores that I got. And let me tell you, I got it at the price of the store price. These people won't making a lot of money at the show. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that 2 cents out. Lou Rock asks, so everyone's got Airbnbs for the National. We need to rotate nights for card trade, house parties after each day at the National. Just a thought. Yeah, me and Andy kind of said that before we started tonight. That would be a great thought. We hopefully Mike, will be announcing where they're going to have their. Have you heard anything, Andy? I know you're staying with Mike for Thursday night.
No, I haven't heard any details on it yet. But I mean, yeah, they're for. I know, like he's planning for sure to do something. Like
yeah, he told me they were. Yeah, it's just because it's there. It's kind of odd. It's hard. I don't want to say it's harder to hang out, but I mean, you go hang out in the lobby of a casino, basically, is what you're doing there or somewhere. So
I don't know. Will a casino let you do that? I know Vegas they won't.
Man, they got a lot of strange rules in Atlantic City, so a lot different in Vegas. At least the last time I went there, which has been a while. I wish we had Ed in here; he could tell us. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to be seeing the late night trade nights like we did, unless they're doing them at a regular hotel or the guy drives up in his Corvette and just does it on the street corner again.
To Lou's point, I'm looking forward to the YouTube poker game.
Are they going to do that?
I mean, we should do that. We absolutely should do that.
I'll watch. That'll be money I could have spent on a card. I like to buy cards. I don't know about the rest of y'all in this room, but
see, I'm not going to be buying any cards. So it's like,
who knows? I don't know. It's like Bob was asked. I'll change what I want to get. I'm always on the look for Carrie Fisher. That's even before she passed. And when she passed, I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be harder." And I want to get it in hand. I like to see it before I purchase it because cards equal chips.
I like Bobble's idea there.
Yeah, cards equals chips.
Yeah.
So Wade Boggs fan. I think Mike is looking at the Sheraton right next to the convention center for the Thursday get together. Oh, that sounds good. And hey, Wade, nice to see you, Wade Boggs fan.
Great channel.
Yeah, awesome channel, awesome guy. A lot of energy.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I met him too last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the National, getting back to it, like last year, me and Andy talked quite a bit, and Andy, I want to say, going over people you met at the show, like afterwards, your show recount, it couldn't have been nicer to say about one guy is Scott loves to look at your pickups and cards you have. As a collector and an old school collector, that hit me in the feels. I ain't gonna lie, that was something you could say. So I've been labeled as an old school collector. You can see my boxes back here. I got boxes in another room. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean that's a compliment.
Yeah, because it is. I want to see cards. I got the whole, the mantle. In some random dude let us see his mantle right there in the hotel I was in while we were waiting on our Uber. It was just. I don't know. You just feel like you're with thousands of people that are in your in the same mindset, and it's amazing feeling. You'll just talk to random people, and y'all there for one purpose. It's pretty cool.
Well, sometimes whenever you're just talking to, friends and family that aren't into the hobby, you kind of feel a little strange talking about it sometimes.
Right,
So you get around all of these people, and you just feel so normal and natural.
right.
It's just like
You
everybody's
pick up a
talking.
card, or you see a card that somebody else likes, and you get excited. Go to work tomorrow and tell somebody a card that you saw, Andy, over the weekend. They're going to go, okay, great.
Yeah. Okay.
That same way for me. I actually have a boss at work that does some collecting, so he'll talk to me. But I just it's that has been and that this channel has opened that up for all of us. Our channels and how we react on the socials, and I know Andy, your group is y'all talk almost every day, so y'all. But y'all don't only talk about cards, and neither does our little group. And we're there for each other for more than just support in the card world. That's what's been great about this, and I didn't realize till I got into it that it could be that way. It's like be brothers in cards, but it's deeper than that. Hate to get all sappy and emotional, but I get that way. I'm just a big old teddy bear.
You are, man. You are a big teddy bear.
Yeah, my friends call me the gentle giant.
You are, man. I really enjoyed talking to you last year, though. I mean, we had some good conversation.
Yeah, and that's, man, just to let you know, y'all will be on the same kind of, I believe y'all are the same height, another person. And I gotta say, Andy, the first person that Bobbles asked me about, did you talk to Andy? Did you talk to Andy? And the second was, did you talk to Eric? So you might have to do some autograph signing when you see me.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. No, but nobody wants my autograph.
Or a restraining order. I'm telling you, it might be shirts coming off. I don't know.
I mean,
It might get flashed.
It's a lot of fun, because like I said, you see all these people, and you just you hope that they're going to be just like they are, but you're just not really sure until you see them, and then you're like, it's like the first time I met Eric, for instance, I felt like I'd known him for years. We just it wasn't like you just met somebody at all, not even a little bit. You just you just get into your old routine, you've been talking all these years, and now you're just standing next to each other.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was crazy when me and Scott met. We said this last week. It was just like,
we bro hugged.
It was just like, dude, I talk to you all the time. I know who you. Just it was cool. It was a cool experience, and I'm looking forward to meeting.
Just how you reacted at that show, I can't wait to see you at the National.
They might kick me out.
Oh, you're gonna be overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed when I go still.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm gonna have sensory overload. I think I'm as never have been, and the expectation. It kind of like going to Oz. I'm just kind of like
how quiet Hickory was is not going to be the way this place is. We could hit a pin drop later that day, Saturday, at Hickory. You're not.
And I'm really looking forward to some of the exhibits. They say they have the exhibits and stuff. Well, I'm really looking forward to looking at that stuff.
Yeah, the guys, the ones that do the auction houses and stuff, has really nice stuff. And just go up there with Don, and he'll look at a Ty Cobb and ask it for $29 or whatever instead of $29,000. He told us that story.
I can't believe you said that.
You guys were joking about autographs. Now, this is something that is interesting, and this is kind of this has been a development over the last couple of years. But I've started this is no joke. Sometimes when you walk around with, Mike, baseball collector, he's got. He's got the podcast now. They've got the show on Bench Clear. I mean, there's a lot of people come up to him, and they really they want to get a picture with him and stuff. And I'm like, good grief, guys. I mean, if you only knew him.
Yeah. I'm with him.
No, but it is funny. I always joke about this with people. When I walk around with Mike and Eric, because Eric knows everyone at the National, I think, and then everybody knows him too. And it's the same way with Mike. Like, you walk around with those guys and you're like, you feel like you're walking around with a couple of, pro athletes or something because everybody's coming up wanting to shake their hand and, all this stuff. And then they'll look at me and be like, aren't you on YouTube too? Like,
Is it true? Is it true? I heard a vicious rumor about Eric that he will not pass a dollar bin and not go in it. If it's got like some good stuff looking at it, he will not. He will not walk right past it. He's got to start like looking at it.
See, that sounds more like JT to me, but
okay.
I mean, I'm sure Eric, he likes a good dollar box too, but but JT, man, he really works those
Eric, what's awesome to see Eric do is just walking around at his head is held so high, and he is the marshal of the parade. He is the guy.
Well, he's like 7'2", right?
Oh, he's 6'6", 6'7". I don't know.
No, he's not that tall. I mean, see, you guys have heard all these stories now. It's like,
well, he's taller than me. I'm 6'2". So I mean, I look up
6'3", maybe 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah, he's tall, but he's.
With
y'all
the beard,
talking about him like he's the Undertaker.
There you go.
Over the top rope. But anyway, and to watch that is pretty amazing. What you said about Mike, I got to see that. But
I mean, I like to give him a hard time about it too. It's
right. Yeah. So, but the good thing about Mike is like he'll yell at you if he knows you. He's going to yell at you and want to see your cards. He's just another guy, another collector, man. And
I love giving Mike a hard time. He and I are such good friends. Like,
right.
I gave him a hard time this weekend at the Dallas show. Like, I snuck up behind him and I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, "Oh, you're Mike baseball collector. I've been wanting to meet you." Like he.
Did he do something for bench clear there? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was just there on his own.
He goes every week.
I haven't looked at anything, but
no, he didn't film anything this time.
He
kind of made a point. It was a good point, actually. He's like, I didn't film any footage of the show floor this time because he's like, I figure everybody's seen the show floor by now at Dallas.
Right.
Like, it's like, it looks the same.
Was there any other guys there, Thursday or Friday doing with the film crews?
I didn't. Honestly, like, I spent very little time, like, out in the main room.
Right.
So I didn't really see much. I mean, there's a couple of guys that you'll normally see, like Rock Cards and Kenny Fornos. Like they usually have they're usually filming stuff as they're going around. But I mean, nobody obnoxious or anything. Like I don't think I didn't see Ryan there, Card Collector 2 this time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean they've kind of chilled out on the filming. It's nothing like it was like, like let's say like a year and a half ago. There's really like very little of that you see anymore. And if you do see it, it's like they're doing it in a very quiet manner where it's not like this. They're not like making a big scene or anything. So
right,
you hardly even know that they're doing it.
Yeah, it's one thing to walk around with just your camera phone. It's another thing where you got the guy with the camera and the boomstick and the lighting.
The light.
I joked. I'm waiting for somebody to use a drone. Use one of the
I saw a guy do that at Dallas like last time.
Oh, really?
They had a drone in there, yeah.
Wow. I'm just kind of curious because the hobby is not dead. The hobby is not dead.
Hobby will never die.
So, with that being said, where do you see the hobby going within 6 months to a year?
Man, it's hard to say, and I think anybody that claims to know would just be, just throwing darts at this point. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to talk about, but there's just a lot of factors that play into it, and all those factors are different for every person. I mean, for me, I think sometimes we all kind of get caught up in whatever the new thing is or all this, but I try to just stay in my lane and collect what I like, and that way, even if it does go down in value or whatever, like I still like what I have. like I feel really bad for the people that were buying this stuff at the peak prices just for money, and it's like been sliced in half, if not more, because they don't even like what they have. A lot of them, like
Right.
I can look at a card that maybe it went down like 50%, but I still like the card just as much as I did before, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
You know-
yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like people have talked about the attendance possibly being down at the National, and I could see that, but it really like that kind of stuff. I don't think it really affects guys
I don't
like
think
us.
it'll be noticeably down, but I think it'll be not like last year, just because.
I mean, that could be location too, right? I
Right.
mean, a combination of
Sure.
location with what's going on. So,
But even if the attendance is down, it's not going to prevent guys like us from having a good time. Like I'm going to have just as much fun. Like it's like I told
Right.
JT the other day when we were doing the podcast. Like I had more fun last year at the National than I've ever had, and I didn't buy a single card.
Right. Yeah,
I mean-
I only bought 3, and that was like the first day. I was kind of done after that.
You bought some
But
good ones.
yeah, but I bought the 3 that kind of, and Eric. I mean, he didn't talk me into it. He spoke that Eric science. Like I was, I did well on the 2 on the Satchel page and the Clemente rookie. I did well on those prices, so it gave me more money to look at if I wanted a Gretzky. And he said, "Well, they're not going to get any cheaper." So
I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you saw this comment over here, Scott, but Carlos, like
I saw with the Nash.
Carlos and I, like we're friends, and I think he nailed it right there, like with that second comment.
What's that? That one right there?
Yeah, that one. He nailed
Yeah, the conspiracy.
it. Yeah, it's all a conspiracy. Yeah, I'm trying to talk Carlos into going. Like I think he said he's not going this year, so I've already promised him if he goes next year, I'll
They
I'll
got
buy the first round.
Toronto this weekend, I think, right, Carlos? Which that's on my bucket list too. I really want to get into more hockey, and I think that'd be a great way. Get up there and rub elbows with the hockey guys up there a little bit at the Toronto show.
Andy, how many cards do you take with you when you go to not the sale, but like to the National?
All of them.
I mean, do you take cases of?
All of it can fit in a backpack.
It all fits in my backpack, dude.
Okay.
Like the stuff that is like what I would consider like, like my
Thank you, Carlos.
my PC. I'm not talking about like, like of course I'll have like, some complete sets and I'll have like some just raw like, $1, $5 cards that I'll keep stored away. But as far as like the cards that are like my core PC, yeah, I'll bring all of them.
Okay, because I was curious about
Everywhere
if
I
I
go.
should do that.
Every show I go to, I bring them all. Even if
I've
I have
got
no
this-
intention of selling them, I just like to, you want to show them to your friends and stuff. And
I've got some
Right.
suitcases of them, the storage cases for the one touches and stuff, and even for slabs. I was debating on what to bring with me, and
We're driving. You can take whatever you want.
yeah, I was I wasn't, I'm the newbie. I'm, y'all gotta lead me. Y'all are my Jedi masters.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't-
dependent on a lot of y'all
But
information
I
getting
can
out.
tell you right now, and Andy to tell you, you don't want to pull it out unless you're ready to. If it's okay to be separated from it, right? So, and I'm gonna say, take it. If somebody's interested in it, the offers will start coming at you.
well, I mean, that's if you're at the show itself. Like on the after
Your
hours,
friends might too. I can tell you,
that's-
right? If you're in a house of 12 people and somebody sees that and they're gonna go, "Hey, what do you want for that?" Starts that discussion.
that's
Yeah, and I
it.
think
It's
Bobbles
perfect.
is down. I think Bobbles, I asked him about within the house us doing our own little trade night one night, or one afternoon kind of
I
deal.
think it's just going to be a spontaneous thing.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of card collectors talking cards, and you start showing each other cards. What's the next thing? Well, what you willing to get rid of that? I mean, that's just how it works, and it'll happen at what Andy was going to say at the card show. If you let a dealer see some nice cards, they'll try to separate you from that card if they can.
Andy,
Yeah.
do you have any advice for someone? Are you flying? I guess you're flying to Philly.
Yes.
What's your advice to someone that's flying to Philly for the Atlantic City with the you're either got to take a train or rent a car if you can get a hold of one, or carpool with somebody. The logistics of going up there and you see something that you want to buy. Do you have any advice for somebody that may be doing airfare?
Well, I mean, I would be a terrible person to give advice because I've never been there. I've never been to Atlantic City. I can tell you what we're doing. We're going to fly into Philly, and then JT, who's driving, he's been kind enough that he's going to meet us at the airport, and we're going to ride with him from there. Now, if he wasn't going to do that, I'd already thought about, possibly taking the train or even an Uber. I mean, I guess those are your other two options, but yeah, it just so happens that it works out that way where, he's been nice enough to do that. So,
Mike.
What's
Oh,
it
yeah.
say?
yeah, Clemente influencer.
I'm a Clemente influencer.
That's true. That is true. 100% true.
Well, Lou Rock over here, he's with me on it. And so
That's two. I mean,
And Victor, we all love the Clemente.
that is a hot take right there. There's going to be so many Clemente influencers at the National. Clemente to the moon, right?
That's
How
it.
many-
Clemente to the moon.
I tell you what, the rookie last year Clemente card, I didn't know it. I didn't hear anybody getting it. I'm not saying I started anything, for heaven's sake, but I'm no one. But it was a lot of people looking for that card at the show. I'm so glad I found it Thursday at the price I did and got it, because I don't think it would have been there Saturday. I really don't. And say, Satchel Paige, that's just a hot card anyway. But I'm just glad I got that Clemente card.
I've heard two versions of wanting to do at the National. One, make a lap. If you see something, make a lap. See if you can find it somewhere else. And I've heard the other version of, if you see it and it's a good price, snag it, because it may not be there when you make that big lap at the National place. Is that?
It kind of depends on what it is to me. Like, if it's a card that I know there's going to be several of them at the show, I'll typically make a lap. If it's something that I'm like, I haven't seen this thing in like 6 months or a year, and I'm pretty sure there's not going to be another one here, then maybe I go ahead and try to lock it up right then.
Right.
Because if it's something that's really tough to find, and it's someone that's a fairly popular player, you better believe that there's going to be other people that we're going to want that thing too. So that's kind of how I do it. But if it's a card that there's going to be several copies of, like, yeah, I would kind of take a lap, because there are going to be a lot of discrepancies in the prices between these dealers on the same card, essentially. So you kind of want to make sure that you get the best bang for your buck. But sometimes, like, if it's a card you don't ever see and you know that you want it, I mean, I'll pay up
Right.
for that kind.
Yeah. First off, hello, Fernando. Welcome to my channel. I don't think I've ever seen you on here. In my case, in Mexico, Philadelphia playing, see a Philly game on the 26th July. After the game, take a train to AC. He's got a day out of it. He's planned it out.
And
I like Rick's point down here, like vintage oddball cards, Rick.
Yeah.
Does Rick make any bad things?
Rick is an awesome dude. Like,
He
I mean,
is.
like, he was one of the most impressive guys, like, last year at the show, because I'd never met him before either. And I mean,
I think him and Canadian cards are kind of like the two gentlemen of the hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. See, that was the first time I'd ever met Mike in person too. Like, talked to him a ton, but never had met him in person. And yeah, like, those guys, I mean, they just have like a wealth of knowledge about so many things, not just card related, but just pick their brain about life in general. They've just got a lot of.
Mike made he's along the same line. If it's ultra modern thing, lap. If it's truest, unique, or rare, bye.
Yeah, and what I was thinking what that makes me think because I agree with like both Mike O and Rick there. What it boils down to is a lot of times is like, do you want the card or do you want a deal? If you just want the card, like if you're just dead set on you're going to get that card, then you snag it. If
My
it's
brother
over there,
here, Big Scott, what qualifies as rare?
that is a good question, Gary, and I think that's different for a lot of
Gary,
people.
Yeah,
Gary
I
likes
guess
to
up
throw
to
the
the
curveball
button.
at you. I couldn't hit it in high school. I damn well can't hit it now. So, what qualifies as rare? That's probably on you to figure out yourself, numbered wise, or an older card at a price that's right to you. Bring on Blue Jacket. Yeah, I would love to have.
That's such an interesting topic, and like, so I have a lot of friends that collect, 90s inserts and parallels, whether it be baseball, basketball, football, whatever.
Right.
And there are certain cards that are like serial numbered to 100, right? And I know some player collectors that they're looking for these cards, some of these that are numbered to 100, and they've looked for years and can't find one. So you hear it's numbered to 100, you don't think it's rare, but at the same time, it never shows up. So,
well, for somebody like that, I will refer Refractor Jones in a heartbeat. I see he's in
Yeah.
the chat.
Yeah.
He's got that oddball stuff.
I think because he's going to be with us, I'd like to have him and me, Bobbles, probably the week before we leave to kind of set up our details for the show.
what qualifies as medium rare? I like that.
Yeah, put it up there.
I was, at the
James
Hickory
is going
show,
to be with us.
I was surprised at the Hickory show. Curious about Dallas is that, and if anybody in the chat, you've been to, Scott's been to Chantilly, Bobble's been to Chantilly, some other shows throughout the country. At Hickory, I was really surprised. There were still a lot of vendors taking PayPal, Venmo, electronic sales, even with the whole online tax deal from the feds. I was really, really surprised. I did not see a lot of cash changing hands. Did you see that in Dallas? A lot of folks still taking electronic payment?
Well, I think if you were to ask people what would they prefer, I think everybody's going to tell you cash. But a lot of these dealers, if they're set up, if they have their business, if they have it set up as a business, it's not going to affect them as much as it does just like, just a regular collector that just kind of does this for fun, right? Because, if you're set up as a legitimate card business, you're getting 1099, you're getting all that stuff anyway. So it doesn't really, would they prefer the cash? Yes. But a lot of these guys that are set up that way, they'll still accept Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, whatever. They prefer cash, but yeah, the people that don't do it for a living, they probably don't accept those type of payments.
Which is good for me. I'm scared to carry cash. I'm not a cash carrying guy. And to see the crime rate in Atlantic City, I don't know.
Oh, you'll be. It's going to be so many people walking around. You'll be all right.
Now, I will say,
we're driving over there. We're walking from the parking lot. There's going to be so many people there.
You will get a better deal almost every time if you pay cash.
Yeah, if you pay credit card or debit card, they're going to charge you the price that's on the card.
Yeah, like whatever the fees are.
They got to pay the fees.
Yeah, whatever the fees are, you're going to pay those. They won't.
Yeah. AC is a beautiful town if you keep your eyes closed. That's awesome, Mike. Thanks. Yeah, we need to band together and let's boycott it. Let's just all go to somewhere else that weekend. Because I don't understand. I know why they're there. It's a cheap place. They're probably getting it for free almost.
Yeah, they got to be getting a deal.
But anyway, it's not very good. So before we check out, we're going to talk about ACD. Your house, you're staying with Mike, if I'm allowed to say.
Oh, yeah.
JT, Jake, right?
Jake, Josh, rated rookie.
Yep.
And then Mike.
All right, cool.
Starts.
I definitely want to meet him.
Yeah.
So Josh.
Another another fun house. Now, are y'all there the whole weekend, or y'all? I know a lot of those people like to check out Saturday morning.
I think we fly out at like 6 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, evening or
Yeah, 6 o'clock Saturday evening.
oh, okay. Wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free venue for the event promoters. Is what Ryder's saying.
We're
But to
Friday.
your point, Nats, man, you were saying about Josh, you want to meet him.
Yeah.
Easily one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Like he just so down to earth. Like, yeah, I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Josh, honestly. Like that's and that's saying something.
Philly.
Yeah.
Ray dropping in. Hey Ray, how you doing, buddy?
Is that Ray from Philly? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
we got Ray from Philly.
Holy crap, dude. I love your videos, man.
The legend.
The 300 that man, he deep dives into those. So you're going there. Are y'all going to do y'all got y'all's little passes for Tuesday to get in?
I mean, I can't say. I mean, we might have some sort of. I might be Mike's cameraman.
Okay,
That's all I can
I'm
say.
sorry, I put you on the spot. I know.
I might be the official cameraman of Bench Clear Media.
Ray's a Joe Girardi super collector. Yeah, I'm going. This will be my first Wednesday. I've never been to a Wednesday, and we're going up there Tuesday. I think we're gonna get there Tuesday because I think that's when we can get in the house.
I'm talking butt crack morning. I'm heading towards northbound I-85
on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'll probably I might have to jump in as he's riding by. That's how it's going to be.
Let's go.
So, how far of a drive is that?
6 hours to Philly, so it's like
Another hour.
from my house.
Yeah, that's 6 hours from him, so I'm another hour.
Yeah, so it's like a little over 8. I think it was right at 8-hour drive.
Yeah, because isn't it basically an hour drive from Philly to AC?
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
we'll make up some time because we're going to be going on up at 81, I think, and I don't think the new maps have. I think it's 75 now going up on that highway, so we'll probably make up some time on that highway. So
75-ish.
yeah, well that's the we will like you speed
Right.
in the right lane. So
80.
yeah,
80's tolerable.
right. Well, it's
Keep up with the flow of
truck. Whenever he
traffic.
tells me to go, that's what I'm going.
Keep up with the flow of traffic.
4 hours for me, so probably 8 hours for you. Yeah, Bobbles, we have to get together, find out all the logistics and everything, brother. I'm definitely going to have you on and somebody else.
Yes.
Like that, 4 of us for probably the Sunday before that Tuesday. So I pretty much have everything. What my drive is going to be like 3 to 4 days going to take. Our time. Yeah. We kind of at first I was like, let's leave Monday. We could do some stuff, but then you got to pay for a place to stay. And where are we doing that? Let's just go. Refractor 5-hour flight. But anyway, I want to thank Andy for coming in.
Thank you, Andy.
He hit his house.
Thanks for having me.
And got on.
Y'all. He
I
literally
had to hold up an hour for him, for heaven's sake. But
I appreciate it. Man.
I would hold up as long as you needed, brother. I can't wait to talk to you again at the show. Ray's crashing. Ray is going to be at the show. I can't wait to meet Ray, pick his head on a few things. His stuff intrigues me. So I think we're going to have a fun time at the National, regardless of where it's at. So until next time, like, share. Seen a lot of new names in the chat. Love having y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell. Next weekend, I don't know exactly, but I think it might be Victor. Might be, or who are you thinking? Well, next week is Memorial Day. I might do something a little different that night. It might be open mic night. I don't know yet.
Yeah, that was something we were kicking the can about.
Yeah, it depends. So until then, see ya.
Peace.